All right, welcome back to Block Party number 95. And here we are with Accelerated Collective Evolution with my brother Dharmendra. Take it away, Dharmendra. Welcome back.
Hello, everybody, and welcome. I'm Dharmendra Gordon. Nice to see you all. And yes, this is Accelerated Collective Evolution. We are now officially into the track of what this is all about. We've passed through the, I guess you could call it the initiatory first four sessions. And so now the kind of theme for everything from here on, unless I change it, is shifting from the heart of transformation, which is still the kind of like essential ingredient in all these meetings, but we've kind of all integrated that by now. And we're stepping into centering essence. And each week we have a theme, and the theme for this week that we're going to be tapping into, that's in direct relation to the work that's happening here with Jamin and Melissa and everybody else, I would assume, who's here. This week, I think I already said, yes, centering essence will be, it's Life Code 49 is the theme, and that's the gate of principles. It's in the original I Ching, it's called revolution. So this is a very juicy subject in relation to what we're working on here in this presentation and within the milieu of all of this block party. As I said, I'm just going to give an introduction here before we go into our work, which won't be recorded. Oh, hello, Alice. Nice to see you. So the 49th life code is the gate of principles. It's based on truth and wholeness, or falsehood and partiality. Yeah, it's kind of a tai chi of those two things. It's basically about determining who's going to get the resources and what resources they're going to get. That's on the mundane, practical level. It also has included in it the energy of rejection, and that leads to the shadow of reaction. And we'll get into that more as we get into the work today. It's also the gate of divorce. And basically, the work that we're going to do with it is about removing that which prevents a deeper interconnectedness, because it connects directly as a life force channel to the 19th gate, which is all about interconnectedness. And what it does is it purifies what's connecting so that it can all connect really well. There's a couple of other themes in this, like the sense of urgency, as in not wasting time trying to convert, as in a normal revolutions, trying to convert people. It's about, if you're open to this movement, that's the qualification for inclusion. You just have to be open, and then you're included. So it's part of what's happening in terms of the new energies that are being initiated on the planet at this time, that are moving more toward the energies of the mother and away from the energies of the suffering son, which has been the last couple thousand years. And there's two kinds of revolutionaries. I'm going to introduce some concepts here that I don't even know if have really been brought out in the traditional sense, the human design or the gene keys, but there's two kinds of revolutionaries. There's a horizontal and a vertical. And the horizontal is the kind we're all familiar with. It's like breaking with the old, getting rid of all the old things that don't work, and then starting something new. The vertical is different. It's about the rejection of the false, borrowed, and artificial within oneself. So the shift is into your own growth and what's keeping you from evolving. And it's an inner revolution that is supported from the inside. That is the true foundation from the start of the movement. The movement being the revolution, whatever that movement into the new is. This whole thing is kind of like a movement, and it's about collecting what can move forward into the future, and releasing and letting go of what is no longer serving us. And it is from that place, it's what aligns this group or any group, as long if it's a vertical revolution, as it is based on the transformation arising from within, and that is within everybody who's participating, that unifies and makes strong the intention of the authentic revolution, i.e. the vertical, as it manifests indivisible appearance in the world. So the whole idea is to fortify ourselves on the inside first, because out of that, then you have people that are grounded and strong and connected and real about what is needed to be done. And then very little time is wasted in once it moves into the outside world and becomes visible and manifests. Then it's just about what's needed, because everybody's clear in themselves who they are and how they can contribute with that. And that's where a little bit of time is useful in these types of interactions, these kind of meetings, to get really clear within ourselves and to allow all this to come from the inside and to get clear on the inside. And a lot of what we do with the shadow work is obviously about let go and releasing, but also keeping that which from the shadow is useful, and bringing it into our heart, and allowing that to become the empowering force of our gift. So just some quick notes on the shadow of this life code of reaction is based in a delusional mindset that's out of touch with reality, leading to distortions, deletions, and generalizations. And basically, it's just trying to replace one system of ego, ego-led, ego-based, conditioned way of doing something with another one. And at the level of the shadow, it also has a link into killing animals, and because it's the gate of the butcher. So that's something that is part of what we I think is definitely critical to leave behind. And we'll get into that more, like I said, when we get into the work and how that all came about. And personally, I think it was a distortion of this gate anyway, and I don't think that the killing aspect ever needed to be necessary. But apparently it did, based on, this is an emotional gate, and it can get very intense. And it can get very intense in the sense of rejection that leads to reaction, and then that's when things get, because it's about who has the resources, so who's going to eat, who isn't. And I think that it became very powerful in the past when people felt that the resources were being kept from them and they couldn't eat, and they felt they had to do something drastic, like either move to another area where there was no vegetation and they were forced to do something like eat animals, or they had to try and overcome the humans that were not allowing them access to the fields and whatever, grains and vegetables and things that they weren't getting. Another interesting thing is that, in terms of, it's a direct link into what's called the mammal design, through one of the genetic codons, one of the life codes. And another interesting point is that we become, when we go into our dreaming space at night, the codons that are awake and activated is the same as a mammal. So it's very interesting. Something here to see in the shadow aspect is that people who are still choosing to eat animals are literally, at this point moving forward, are basically damaging their dreaming body, because anything that you're harming on the outside that's mammalian is also existing within us. We're like a dual creature. We're human when we're awake during the day. At night, we literally become a mammalian human, because that's the intelligence that we have access to when we're dreaming at night. So that's just a very interesting thing to keep in mind. And maybe it will come up in today's, if we have enough time, in today's session. So I just wanted to throw that in just to let people think about it. And also there's conditioning and karmic consequences from eating animals, again, that can affect us directly in our dreaming bodies. And that has to do with the principle of payment and owing and giving back what you took. And that all happens through the dreaming body directly. And a lot of, we don't realize how many sicknesses and other things that we actually contract through our dreaming body, based on what we do during the daytime. So this is some of the deeper aspects of the shadow aspect of this. As far as the revolution aspect, which is the gift, which is the actual shift, the transformation, once the old is let go of, riding the wave on a path with heart as the true direction. So that's obviously the focus. And conscious evolution groups can produce extraordinary results in a relatively small period of time. So it's using that power of the group to create the revolution in a way that allows everybody to just keep adding to the energy. And the more we do these sessions, the more that kind of portal will open up. And I say portal because it's a possibility. It's something we can access and attract and bring into our world as a group that isn't necessarily there until we intend it and create it. And then the city is rebirth, and rebirth is literally like the phoenix rising out of the ashes kind of sense of something where all that was old and dysfunctional has basically been vaporized or incinerated, and what's left is what's real. And rebirth into the new world, which is quickly assembling before the eyes of those who are capable of and choosing to see it. I mean, that's a pretty good, I mean, a pretty necessary thing to see, that what's coming and what's opening is only for people who have eyes to see it. Otherwise, we have a very chaotic world right now, and there's so much going on, and it's a lot of suffering. But that always happens when consciousness accelerates, when there's an evolution through all of life. So like I say, before the eyes of those who are capable of and choosing to see it, a new world is there to be rebirthed into. That is inviting all of us into it, should we choose. It does take work though. Work like this, and especially work like this, where you get clear about a spectrum of consciousness, because it's certainly at different frequencies that you start to be able to tap into this and be able to receive the information or the consciousness that can help guide you into what you're going to do as you open into this. A lot of what we're going to see as we go forward is that it's a lot about when we shift with the focus on the specific filter of the week, we literally get fed with information because it's already there, but we have to get to the frequency that unleashes it within our consciousness. So that's a lot of what we're training in general anyway. But with revolution, that's a really good one because it's stirring everything up. It's kind of a direct demonstration of it. And the gateway is through let go, and literally let go of everything that is based on, I mean, ego was the old word, but ego doesn't have such a bad rap anymore. It's just the conditioning. What isn't you? What you borrowed. That's all meant. It's all trying to live from the mind and thinking the mind's going to figure it all out, and it's a mental based, platform, and that's what's going away. We need to start to listen to our hearts or our self or our guts, depending on who we are and how we tap into that. For each person is different, or we need to listen to that still small voice within. It's unique for each person. And that's really something to learn how to trust in movement. And that let go is not a doing, it's the absence of all doing, because it's the doing that's created by the ego that gets us rushing around and chasing this and that and everything. And it's so easy to condition us through the TV and the news and everything else. And true let go is the absence of any kind of doing whatsoever. And it removes the very foundation of anything that was built up from a false self-image that was held in place by the efforting of the egoic construct. And so that's what we're going to play with when we get to the Siddha, is a rebirth and energy. So that's kind of what I have by way of introduction today, to introduce where we're going to be moving into. So Jamin, I want to shift us into the workroom.
Yep, absolutely.
Please.
Thank you, Dharmendra.